Hello everyone, it is Jazz here and welcome to my vlog for Tis-the-season-a-thon. It is appropriately flurrying outside, which is sort of a rare occurrence in Tennessee. I started my first book for the Readathon last night, which is the group book Anna Holidays. Last night I started by listening to the audiobook while reading along in my copy, and then I did just read without the audiobook in the mid-afternoon a little bit, and I have gotten 68 pages into this read. This book is about a woman named Maylin Jones, her family, and the friends of her mom and dad, who are sort of almost like family to them. They always go and stay in this cabin in Utah every holiday season. The sort of Christmas holiday is ending when the book starts, and she has, over this holiday, made some unfortunate eggnog choices and some unfortunate choices, and she kind of hates her job as well when she's thinking about going back to her job, and then some insanity ensues, and she basically ends up in this time loop where she keeps reliving the start of the holiday when she went to the cabin over and over and over again. It's sort of got a Groundhog Day. So I'm on the third day of her repeating some stuff, I believe. And so I'm very amused. Now, I do have a checklist for this readathon, but I think I'm going to photograph it in a second. So I'm just going to wait to show you that when I go and photograph it. And as for the rest of the day, I do have to take a little rest from reading because as some of you may know, that I recently enrolled in college and I am a little bit behind in schoolwork, so I want to do a little schoolwork. Hopefully in between the breaks I will be able to do some Christmas decoration is the goal today, and I think I might audiobook while doing Christmas decoration. It is day 2. I got quite a bit of Anna Holidays read. I'm going to take this book with me in the car to go to work because I don't drive, so I read in the car. So I'm going to take this with me to read. Maybe I'll finish it on my ride over to work, but we shall see. I do really like the dialogue in the book. I think it's really amusing and very humorous, and I really like the pop culture references because I live for a pop culture reference. I know some people don't like those, but I enjoy those. I do enjoy the audiobook, but I have to say that there is an Australian character in the book, and that accent leaves something to be desired. But I'm gonna just let it pass because honestly, the Australian accent is better than anything I can do, right? And then also, I could just be a little biased because I did spend like a little bit of this year watching a few Australian type shows. So maybe I'm just being nitpicky. But reader reads the main character like great. If you're wanting to read the audiobook, I think or listen to the audiobook, I think it's still something I would recommend. I do plan to obviously complete this book by the time the night is over, and then it's a choice between like a non-Christmassy palette cleanser or a, you know, solid book that I know that I can finish quickly. It's day 3 and I finished my first book last day. I said last day because I almost said last night, and then I realized I finished it in the afternoon. So we ended up with last day. I did end up really enjoying this book quite a bit. I really loved, like I said, the dialogue, and it was just so relaxing and just cute. And also it had a found family aspect to it, which I really appreciated in the story. I was a little concerned at some point, and this is why I reserved some of my thoughts yesterday, that it was going to put forward this narrative that you need to find a significant other to like be happy. But it turned out that that's not what it did. It was just that the main character realized that what she needed to be happy was to communicate the things that she wants and have the confidence to do that. And I'm totally okay with that narrative. You know, you read these kind of things for the predictability, so that's what I appreciated, but there was still a feeling of what's going to happen to it. So I give this a 4-star rating, and I would recommend this, and I would recommend the audiobook as well. I finished that in the car, and I had brought the learning tree with me, so I got like a few pages read in the car on the way to work, and then I came home and read 1 chapter of the learning tree. And if I'm being entirely honest, I really don't want to read this book right now. It's not just because of the tiny writing in it. First of all, I can tell it's going to be like uber depressing, and I just came off like a really happy book, and I kind of would like to stay there. But also in the first 20 pages, which was about the length of the first chapter, I felt like the character introductions were really weird, and I also kind of feel like the writing style is not going to be my super favorite. It's not bad by any means. Like, I still think it's a decent writing style, but I'm like a stickler on writing style when it comes to books that are going to be books like this, which I think are going to delve into some deeper topics. Starts with this like great big cyclone kind of storm because it's set in Kansas, and during the storm, the 12-year-old main character and this girl that he knows that basically saves him from the cyclone, who is like 19, they like get it on in like the first 2 or 3 pages of this, and it kind of wigged me out just a little bit. I'm gonna be honest. I was like, no, that's some statutory scary area for me. I do think it's going to deal with some important topics because it is set in the 1920s, and it's about, it's a coming of age story about the main character, whose name is, I can't remember, Newt. Him and his family are living their lives as a black family in the 1920s, and I believe he's going to witness a murder, and then the whole family is going to have to deal with the impact of him witnessing this murder. I'm still very intrigued by it. Oh, also yesterday I did start the Christmas Pact in an audiobook, because it's an audiobook, because I had like this pile of clothing, which you may or may not have seen, that needed to be put into my closet, and so I just started that to listen to then, and then I listened to the audiobook while I was getting ready for work. I think it's going to be a hate to love trope sort of romance, but also a fake dating romance, because the 2 main characters, Riley Kennedy and Kennedy Riley, yes, those are really their names. They get their emails mixed up because of their name flippage, and so that's how they kind of end up meeting, is through this like meet cute of everything getting confused and them sort of like hating each other through that. But then they make this deal to be like, Kennedy, he says, I will be your date to your Christmasness with your family if you, Riley, go to this wedding that I have to go to. And so then they have like this fake dating relationship. And I mean, I think it's still going to be fun. I do think that Kennedy, he's like one of those male romance characters. It's like maybe not the type of guy that you really want to date, but is fine in a fictional sort of way. So we'll see if he like grows. By the way, I'm testing out my first pair of Christmas socks, my new Christmas socks, because I buy new Christmas socks every year. These ones are funny. It's a gingerbread man with his leg snapped off, and it says, "Oh snap!" I thought that was funny. And I need a little humor today because I've had truly for the last 2 days just like some Bella Swan moments. Today I bumped my head on a paper towel holder. Yeah, I need a little joy so that Wednesday doesn't turn into like a Jonah day, because no. But Wednesdays always do that to me. So even though I should probably wear some socks that offer some arch support, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to wear these new Christmas socks that I have because I need some gingerbread man hilarity. Greetings from my really messy closet, but I kind of have to do it here because my overhead light is busted, or not busted, but I think it's got, the light bulb has gone out, and this is the only light that I have in the room, and this is the best way to get this update. I'm not going to be finishing the learning tree. There are some good things about it. I really liked how this book so far, and I read the second chapter, up to the second chapter. I did like how it worked in the title of the book, and I do not think that this is a book that would be like really bad or that would be terrible, but I do think it's a book, I can tell already, that's just going to be okay for me. I think it would have some really interesting discussions involved in it, but I also think there would be just a ton of things that I wouldn't enjoy as well. It's been a really not great day today. I feel like it's just also been a couple of weeks of just hecticness and stuff, and I'm just kind of having a little bit of a struggle moment in my mind. I'm still positive, but I'm also having like some moments of unmotivatedness, and I just don't want to slog through a book. The other thing is that 12-year-old, 19-year-old getting it on thing that I mentioned before is starting to bother me. In the second chapter, the part of the story about that came around again, and Newt, the 12-year-old main character, or one of the main characters, because it's really about the whole entire family of his, but his best friend was like, oh, I heard May popped your cherry. I heard all about it from her. And I was like, yeah. And then Newt was like talking about it, and he kind of sounded like he didn't really understand what was going on, which makes me very, very uncomfortable, other than that she is an adult and he is literally a child who's still looking at bugs outside and stuff. That element might not be a huge part of the story, but it is something that's really bothering me. So I can tell that there is some good stuff in here, but I'm just not in the mood to weed through the stuff that I know I'm not gonna like to do it right now. I need to find a new diverse read for the diversity challenge for the Readathon. So I was looking at some of the other recommendations on the Discord chat for the Readathon, and the one that drew me in was Real Men Knit. So I thought maybe I could listen to the audiobook of that. I think that the concept sounds really interesting and the setting sounds really interesting. So I'm going to give that a go. I think it's day 4. Hopefully I'm right. And new Christmas socks today. They are sharks with Santa hats, and it says Santa Jaws. I mean, that's good, right? I'm definitely in a better mood than I was yesterday. Whoo! Yeah, I just needed like a moment to like have a wackadoodle moment. It was nothing that couldn't be made better by finishing a children's book, eating a couple of Reese's peanut butter cups that were left over from Halloween, and watching one of my favorite little Christmas movies, Borrowed Hearts, which I mentioned last year in the same vlog. Well, not the same vlog, obviously, but the vlog for the Tis-the-season-a-thon. If you haven't watched it yet, since last year, you need to go and watch some Borrowed Hearts, because it will warm your heart and make you just feel all better. It is the cutest thing that ever happened. Before we get into the book reviews, because obviously I finished 2 books last night, I want to talk about book mail. Basically, my family, we just pick out the gifts we want and order them. The last couple of years, we've been ordering them during the Black Friday to Cyber Monday weekend, because that's when everything is on sale. And Barnes & Noble had a buy one, get one 50% off sale for their special editions that they put out. So I got a couple of those and they arrived today. So these are my bookish Christmas gifts. The first one is a special edition of Stephen King's The Stand. It's olive orange and the artwork on the front and back is super cool. So I really wanted this. This is one of the main things that I wanted to get, because I don't have the dust jacket on my original copy, and it's always kind of bugged me because I have like a Stephen King shelf, and I wanted to actually have something now where I don't even have to worry about a cover. I actually wanted more Stephen King, but they didn't have that one in stock. It was like a bind up of like 3 of his books, which I do want to get eventually because they're all books where I have really worn out copies of them. But that one wasn't in stock, so I went for another bind up, and that would be the Wizard of Oz bind up. This collects the first 5 novels of Wizard of Oz. I've read Wizard of Oz, the first book, obviously, but I have always wanted to read at least the next 5 books in the series, and now I have them all collected in here. And there's some really cool like illustrations and stuff in it, so I'm really happy about that. And it's a very, very pretty green. I completed How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I gave this 5 stars because you cannot go wrong with a Dr. Seuss book. And even though I'm a grown-up, I love rereading this. I really adored rereading this, and it's super cute, and it made my heart grow 3 sizes, just like the Grinches did, because obviously I was in a Grinchy mood last night. I also finished my audiobook, which was The Christmas Pact, and I did really enjoy it. I definitely would say that probably the dialogue was more racy than I would expect in a Christmas novel, but there are some movies that are kind of like that, so I guess it's okay. I will also say that the main male character in it is one of those characters that's kind of hard to get a read on, as I think said in a previous thing. He's kind of a jerk, but he's a jerk because he's been hurt. It's like one of those things, but you want to go, that's not an excuse for being a jerk. You just need to like work past that. But you know, for fiction, it's fine. He's not mean. Like, he doesn't like treat her bad, you know, but I don't think I could put up with that sort of person is what I'm saying. Anyway, so it's fine for fiction though. It's fine. It's kind of funny in the way that the book is written, and I do think the dialogue was quite snappy and fun in it. I will say that it is a little bit cheesy. Like, it definitely goes to the cheesy side, particularly at the end, because you know all these things have to end in a specific way. And so I think it does get a little cheesy, but that is why I read it. So I'm not mad about it. I read it because I knew that it was going to be a little cheesy, and that is what I wanted. The book isn't perfect, but it is cute, and it is a fun, humorous read that did make me laugh out loud at particular points when I needed a really good laugh. And I just think if you're looking for a semi-cheesy sort of romance that's holiday themed, this one might be enjoyable. The readers of the audiobook are excellent, so if you just want a really nice audiobook to listen to, there's that. And I decided to give this like a 3.75 stars. Today I started Real Men Knit. I haven't gotten deep into the book so far, but I do know so far that it is about 4 men that were all adopted as children from the foster care system by this woman, and also their childhood friend, Carrie. I remember her name. I'm still learning people's names because I'm so early into the book. And their mother has passed away, and she owned this knitting shop, and I think at the point of the book, they're getting ready to have a meeting, the 4 brothers and Carrie, on whether they're going to keep the knitting shop since that has happened. And Oh, also Carrie and Jesse, who is the youngest one of the brothers, I believe they have a budding sort of attraction. Sorry, I've got to do a celebratory dance because I just did my final exam for Intro to Computers, which was great because that means I'm done with that course. My college, Ashworth College, is like a correspondence school, and they send you one course at a time. So instead of being excited about finishing a semester, I just get to be excited about finishing a course. And I get to start my third course, which is sure to be fun. It is English composition. Anyway, that was my happy dance of randomness that nobody cares about. So it is day 5 of the Readathon. I have not read much of Real Men Knit. I read 2 chapters more since the last time I saw you. So all I can say is that I am enjoying it for the most part. Basically, I did intend to read a lot more than I did yesterday and last night. But I think because I did a ton of reading for school and then I took a exam right after that, I was kind of bleh. And so instead of doing that, I watched Star Wars Episode 1 because I feel like it is high time that I've made my way through all of the Star Wars films. I have watched the original trilogy, and I think when it first came out, I watched Episode 2. I didn't have the context of Episode 1, so it wasn't as enjoyable as I think it will be now. Yeah, I need to just get through all the Star Wars things because I know that I'm going to probably enjoy every single one immensely. And everybody asks me my opinion on them, and I can't give you my opinion except on the original trilogy. Anyway, did really enjoy it. I mean, it had some, like little quirky bits. I actually don't mind Jar Jar. Maybe I'm a contrary kind of person, but I thought he was hilarious. I know some people like hate on Jar Jar. Anyway, so instead of a book moment, I'm offering you my thoughts briefly on Star Wars. Sorry about that. But I did want to share another bit of Christmas mail, gift mail that I received. I got a new tiny little camera that I'm going to share with my mom. This is, I think it's a Sony ZV-1, I believe. But I got it so that I can vlog with it and have a little bit better of a vlogging moment because I want to do some more vlog series and I have some ideas, but I don't really want to film on my phone anymore like I've been doing, but I've been doing vlogs on my phone because it's easy to carry around and I don't have to mess with lenses and stuff. I just wanted to share this. I don't think I'm going to switch to using this during this particular video, but I definitely next time I vlog will be whipping this out and seeing all the jam of how it works. Day 6. I just came in from finally getting to put my Christmas lights outside because it took me a really long time to get around to that because it would either rain or I was busy or I would just miss my window. So yay! And I listened to my audiobook while doing it. So multitasking. Because I'm listening to Real Men Knit, I'm wearing my hat that I crocheted. But I don't really knit. I could, I guess, if I really put some effort into it, but I like crochet because it's a little easier to fix and it makes me feel like there's a safety net. So anywho, speaking of Real Men Knit, between my update yesterday and today, I've gotten almost 75% through Real Men Knit and I'm kind of bummed. I'm so sad. I really wanted to come out of this readathon with a really good, diverse read recommendation, and I can tell with this book that it's just going to be an okay book to me, which hurts my heart. I think that this book has elements that I do enjoy. I do like the characters for the most part. I do really, really like the concept, but so many execution things. The problem is that I read this book and I want to fix it. Like, I want to rewrite the book, and I think that's a problem right there. Now, the main issue that I've been having with it is that it is super, super, super repetitive. There's just so many same events happening over and over and over again, and we're not moving forward, and I'm almost done with this book. Also, the same inner monologues of the characters happen over and over and over again, and I just feel like I'm on like this hamster wheel, just spinning in circles, because then you're like, yes, we already established that about that character, let's move on. The brothers were trying to decide if they were going to keep this knitting shop, and basically the youngest brother, Jesse, was like, I can do it, I will keep it open, and the other brothers don't really trust him because he's kind of a player. He's made some not so great decisions with his career and just life in general, and he kind of feels that he's a loser, and I think his brothers kind of, they think that he's a loser too. And Carrie, who is the love interest, or she's really the main character, but it kind of switches the perspective between Jesse and Carrie. She also knows, you know, all about his stuff, but she's kind of been attracted to him and things like that. Carrie offers to help Jesse, like, we're gonna like reset up the shop, open the shop. I'm 75% into this. They have not opened this knitting shop yet, and to me, that's ridiculous to me, because it's like the whole concept of the book. And two, because they are in a sort of specific community where it would really be something interesting to see how the community reacts to the knitting shop. That would be something that would really intrigue me. I need that to happen in like this last quarter of the book. On top of that, I think the romance aspect of it is not really working for me. Now, a lot of reviewers have said that they don't really think this book is a romance. They think of it as more of an adult contemporary, but I personally disagree. Maybe it's just because I don't read a ton of romance. I have during this readathon, but I haven't read a ton of romance in my life that was like of the adult, for like adult romance. But I definitely would say that it shares a lot of similar ways of writing with adult romance from the little that I've read. And it is a little bit more steamy in the dialogue than I personally like, but that's just like my personal taste. That would probably bug me less if I believed the romance. It's a romance where I don't buy the romance between Jesse and Carrie at all. In general, too, I feel like the overall dialogue in this book could use a little more humor, in my personal opinion, just to sort of bring some balance and levity to like the stuff that the characters are going through, and also I think to bring some wit to the story, because in the previous romances that I've read, they've always been witty, and that kind of brings something to it to me. And this doesn't really have that. Ooh, ow. This popped me in the eye. It's not heinous. It's not a bad book. It's definitely something that I can finish, and it's definitely an audiobook that I think that I could like just enjoy as something to listen to while doing other things. In other terms of reading, last night I was so like, I don't know, over the steamy reads. I thought I'm going to find myself a cute, clean, emphasis on the clean, Christmas romance. Most of the steaminess in my 3 books that I've read that have been romances during this readathon has been sort of glossed over or mostly in dialogue, but even that is like more than I want to hear. It's like TMI. So I wanted to find a clean romance, and I still wanted it to be Christmassy, because I just want a cute Christmassy romance in my life. So I went on Amazon and saw what was on Prime Reading, and I found a really cute sounding Regency romance. What is it called? Her Silent Night. And I think this is going to be cute because the premise of this book is that the main character, Selena, she has been sort of involved in a secret courting with a man that is somewhat debatable. And her childhood friend kind of sees that this is happening, and he has recently been knighted, and he basically says, okay, I won't tell your mom that you're like going out with this dude as long as you let me stay over for the holidays, because he's stuck in London and his grandmother died and he doesn't really have anybody to spend Christmas time with, and he's basically doing this so that he can monitor her relationship with this dude and like save her if it starts to go awry, because this dude that she's with is possibly, you know, not the greatest. So a couple of things arrived today. One is not a Christmas present, it's just something that I bought, but this one's a Christmas present, and it's a speaker that's waterproof so that I can listen to my audiobooks in the shower. So maybe I'll try this out this evening. And then another thing that I just bought for myself, because I love onesies, is a penguin onesie. Yeah, sorry about super weird lighting, but yay, Christmas lights behind me. It's nighttime on the final day of the Readathon. Did I spend the entire day wearing my new penguin onesie and pretty much laying in bed wrapped in a blanket? Yes, I did, because my neck super hurt today, and I said I'm going to lay in bed and complete my final book for this Readathon. So that's exactly what I did. So last night I did complete Real Men Knit, and yeah, the 3-star rating is confirmed. I do think that it has some points, and I think at the end there were a couple of like the family group scenes and things that I did enjoy, and when they, you know, did get some of the community into the story more, I did find some interest in that. But I think the fact that I couldn't invest in the romance, and that's like 98% of the book, kind of really hurt the book for me. And also the fact that the pacing just never did get, to me, really good. I feel like my review of this is just much more cohesive on my Instagram. So if you want to check that out on my Instagram, feel free. I finished Her Silent Night. It was a super adorable Regency romance. I do like some Regency era stuff. I like historical romance in general. Like that's why I like classic book romance, as I like to call it. It's just like that is kind of my romance jam if I'm going to dive into it. So I really liked it because of that. Also, I did think the premise was really, really clever. I thought there were some really just cute scenes between the two main characters, the main couple, and I really liked how the author showed them getting to know each other, because it wasn't like they were best friends as children, they just knew each other as children, but they did like know each other. So the fact that they fell in love quickly wasn't too weird, you know what I mean? But they did have to get to know each other, and they did have some kind of fun banter. Not like mean banter, but like teasing banter, which was kind of fun to read. So I had a good time with it. I gave this a 4.25 rating, one of my weird ratings. I don't think it's gonna like be like my new favorite book is like the only reason, but I do think it's like a book that I really, really enjoyed, and I also think that it's a book that's the perfect thing for what I did. I curled up in a blanket and I read most of it in one sitting. So if you want a short, I think it's like 180 something pages, quick read that just makes your heart like go, oh, then yes, Her Silent Night. I think I might check out the other books in the series, because it's a 4-book series, and I think a different author writes every book. So I'm going to maybe check those out. So that is it for the video, my fabulous peeps. Thank you for hanging out with me for the week, and I will see you all soon.